Guys and girls welcomed me, made me feel again. Was I coming to medical students? You know, we used to know those that are professionals when it comes to protocol management. But you guys demonstrated, I don't patronize, I'm saying this because it is true. You guys demonstrated this morning that beyond medicine, you can also do excellently well in other fields. I want to really thank you for inviting him, number one, and for accepting me to come and stand for him, number two, and for putting up a very brilliant performance thus far. It gives me the assurance that prayer for all of us. Amen. So that maybe in 4 or 5 years time I will hear that Isaac is now in WHO, enjoying himself there, or is managing the health of the president of one of the normal countries in the world. After gaining that experience, he can come back to Nigeria and manage the health of our president if our country has come back to normalcy. That connects finally to what my friend talked about. People want to jump out. Nobody can blame you guys. If you have the opportunity, please go. Yes. Don't wait a second longer. But please, what you do is that, as we say in history, life is run on trajectories. We are pent up, we are pressured now because things are the way they are in Nigeria. I can assure you, in 10-20 years, the cycle will turn. I assure you, the cycle will turn. 20-year time, you can come back to pontificate, to detect the base, to tell people in Nigeria how things should be done. It will not always continue like this. But patience threshold differs from one person to another. Nobody can say, "Emo politiku, emo politiku." If you have the chance to japa, japa. But don't forget who. Because you know what? Out there, they will not always welcome you. I tell you again, they will not always welcome you. They are embracing us now, for example, in Canada, which I'm familiar with, because they have challenges. Their population is aging, and they need young people to work. That is why Africans can easily jump out. In 10-20 years, when this problem is solved, there will be a recycling of what happened after slave trade. When they no longer needed us, we became destitute in our streets. And the rest, as they say, is history. This thing will come around again. But by that time, you will have been older, much experience, come back home and use that experience to better Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thank you so much. Let's join our hands together for you. Please let's join our hands together. But there's another one that says, no matter where you go, remember the road that we need to go. Thomas.
Alright guys, so please, I'm really excited about this conference because it's impactful and it's practical. You get, can you see that all the things that the speakers have been saying are actually aligning? When they're talking, see that they're talking part is important. And speaking of networking, everybody bring out your phone, go and follow the talking lecture on Instagram. I'm a good tomorrow. Go to Instagram, type THECORPORATE. What's the Instagram address?
I am K-Star. I am K-Star. IAMKAYSTAR. No spacing, no underscores.
Please also follow our
DJ Tinanu, #1 group king.
Alright, we have to break, but we have the tea break very soon. So everybody can move on. Because I know those are the tea breaks, and in that break, you are going to actually be taking tea.
Yes.
But letter T.
Chinese tea.
No, they're taking the letter T.
Letter T.
Alright, so we'll just have time to, network and mix ourselves. So, the person sitting next to you might just be the next investor, big investor. So I'd like to recognize the head of department for pediatrics and child health. beginning to call him one of our professors at the college. Let's join my hands together for Professor John. And shortly after that, immediately after that, rather, we're going to the presentation from. We'll have an amazing presentation for you guys from rice. I'm sure you must have seen the banner. You want to know what rice is. It's not a rice that you can consume, but it's a rice that can help you consume rice.
Alright.
Indeed. So ladies and gentlemen, please let's have my hands together for Professor John Okeni. Guys, now, I know that after that we'll have a conversation. You are ready. Don't worry, your own is coming. Is there anybody that can escape? You get, let's always realize that. But if you can, you have the opportunity to find out. My friend, I had the opportunity last year. They like it. If I did. I only came with day yesterday. Alright, so before I bring up Professor John Kenny, okay, sorry, I'm sorry, is it Kenny or Kenny?
There are no marks for getting it right or wrong.
Thank you very much.
I love this, sir. I'll have say I should give you one free bottle of, but I know you don't take. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, please can you make welcome with me, Mr. Chibuke from Rice. Please let's make welcome Mr. Chibuke.
You just want to say that for me. Our clap.
Our club, Mr. Chibuke, we're waiting for you. Mr. Chibuke.
Mr. Chibuke, we're waiting for you, please.
Come on, let's keep having our hands together for him. Come on, please get started. There's a whole lot of that in the value chain of medicine that needs to be filled up. Like a whole lot. Like so many things you can do as a medical practitioner that will not require you to, carry stethoscope. And let me say that. Present that my hands together once again for you begin to tell us we're going to have a little financial literacy conversation on how you can be financially smart. A lot of you, I tell people, if not for shawarma, my cash should be outside today.
I swear.
Some people, if not for suya, your cash should be outside. But really, this last day, if not for those masks.
Sometimes I spend the Christmas.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, glad to be here. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to address all of us today. So I just want to give a special shout out to IFUMSA for their work.
IFUMSA, please describe yourself. They are shouting you out.
Yeah, special shout out for putting this together and allowing us to become a part of this. My name is Chubike Moguzie. You can just call me Chubi. I represent a company called Brightverse Technologies, and I'm here to speak to us a little bit about financial freedom. So just to put this whole conversation into context, the mission of RISE is to connect its users to the best wealth-creating opportunities across the globe. So in simple English, what that means is that we want everyone to be millionaires in US dollars. So I just want to ask you a question before I start off, because I want this to be a little bit interactive. I want two people to tell me what they understand by the meaning of the word wealth. What does wealth mean to you? So two people.
What does wealth mean? Put your hands up if you know what wealth means. They like give away. They have money. They have wealth. Anybody. If you want wealth, define wealth. Think about it. Yeah, we have very much engaging. Oh yeah, what is wealth? Wealth is money.
Okay, my definition for me, wealth is having money alongside having freedom to travel, freedom to spend your time as you wish without being restricted.
Thank you so much.
Very busy.
Can I get someone else?
One more person. Couple person. I want to define. This is cheating. Oh yeah.
Alright, wealth is having resources in all its capacity, from money to land to human resources.
Having resources.
Lovely, lovely. So very, very intelligent people in the room. So you guys are both correct. I like what she said. She said something. She said freedom. Wealth means different things to different people depending on what you're trying to get out of life. But what it really does centrally is gives you freedom. Freedom to be able to live the life that you want without having to be a slave for money. So what that means is wealthy people really have money working for them as opposed to the other way around. Right, so that's exactly what we're going to speak about today. And I want to speak about the process of actually creating wealth. Because for the most part, there's this conception that wealth is something that is not achievable or something that's just destined for a specific type of people. But that is not true, right? So, the definition here, like we said, wealth is basically freedom. It gives you the opportunity to live the life that you want, right? So moving on to the formula of building wealth, there are three elements of our personal finances that when we treat them the right way and put them together in the right way, we're able to build wealth, right? So the first is income. Everybody knows what income is. This is money that comes in from either work that we're actively doing or from passive income streams. So this is work that passive income is work that you've already done, and money just keeps on coming in without you actually doing active work. What we want to do with our income is we want to maximize income. Income is tied to value. It's tied to your problem-solving skills. The more value you're able to give, the more difficult of a problem you're able to solve, the potential for you to make high incomes. So that's why we're all here trying to study, increase our knowledge, get experiences, thereby increasing the value that we're able to give, also increasing our potential to make income. So when you think about income in your personal finances, you always want to maximize that as much as you can. So try to increase your value, try to learn more skills and get more experience. The second part of our experience of our personal finance is expenses. So obviously we make money, we have to spend money to live. You spend money on food, you spend money on utility, you spend money on transport, you spend money just to enjoy life, right? God's given it. What you want to do with your expenses is you want to control that. Very, very important because a lot of people focus on income and they don't focus on controlling their expenses. This is the same reason why you have people who make a lot of money who are not financially free, right? So here's what happens. You want to be able to keep your expenses below your income. So if you're making this much, you want to be spending this much. So you have this bit to be able to save and invest. If you're making as much as you're spending, you're basically living paycheck to paycheck. Sad truth is a lot of Nigerians live this way. What this means is that they are basically slaves to their jobs. If they lose that job today, there's nothing else, right? And if you're spending more than you're making, that's the worst position to be in. You're in debt. Again, sadly, a lot of Nigerians live this way for different reasons, right? We have an environment where people want to portray a lifestyle that they're not able to afford. So what they do is they borrow to be able to keep up with that. So you're spending more than you're making, you're in debt. Very, very bad way to live. So we want to do those two to make sure that your expenses are just below your income. And then when you do that, you're able to keep a certain percentage of your income for your savings and investments. Right? So we pair this together, savings and investments. They are often used together, but they are different. Slight difference between savings and investments. Savings are much more for your short-term goals, right? So you want to do something in 3 months, you want to do something in 1 month, a week from now, you're most likely, your best option is to save that money. But when that time comes, you're able to access that money. So what that means is your savings are mostly low risk. That's another very key difference between your savings and your investments. Your savings are low risk. So if you think about your traditional bank accounts, it's low risk, right? If you keep that money there, it's not supposed to drop, but I know these days it does because of charges and all of that. But your investments are for your much more long-term stuff, and it's where you also take much more risk. so that you're able to earn much more returns, right? Next slide, please. So why do we invest? We invest for a couple of reasons. Financial independence. So like the lady there said, freedom, right? You want to be able to be free. You don't want to work for money for the rest of your life. The truth is you won't be able to work for the rest of your life. At some point you want your money to be able to work for you so that you can, enjoy your time on this planet. The second reason is to increase your net worth. Your net worth is basically all your assets minus your liabilities. So everything that you own that is of value minus everything that you are owing other people, the result of that is your net worth. So obviously people want to grow their net worth. You want to make sure like the assets that are under your name are continually growing, so that maybe you can leave some of that for the next generation. Another reason is to achieve our goals. So like I said earlier, the difference between savings and investments, one of the differences is the time frame that you're looking at. If you're looking at, I heard the previous speaker before me say save towards your masters, right? So if your masters are less than a year away from now, or you want to go for your masters less than a year from now, yes, save for that. But if it's longer than a year, you want to invest. And I'll tell you why as we go on. So that's the final reason. You want to achieve your long-term financial goals, right? So why Rise? Rise, like I said, so Rise is a company with the mission to connect you guys to the best wealth creating opportunities in the world. We live in a third world country, a developing country, which means a lot of our markets are also developing, which means we don't necessarily have access to the best returning assets in this country. Our mission is to be able to make sure that you are earning the same type of returns from your investment that someone in the US, someone in Europe will be able to have access to. That's exactly what we're trying to do. So we do this by, we launched an app about 2 years ago. So Rise is a digital wealth manager. What that means, a wealth manager is basically an entity that manages your wealth for you. Right? So you don't need the technical knowledge, you don't need the expertise to be able to navigate through financial markets. You pay a wealth manager to be able to do that for you because going through financial markets requires time. So imagine stock market investing. For you to be able to invest in a company, you have to research that company. So everything from the management to the product to the value proposition of that company. What is this company actually bringing in terms of value to the market? You also want to look at the financials. Is this company in a position where it will be able to survive over time, right? So there's a bunch of things you want to look at. You also want to know what price to buy in because the stock market is full of sentiments, right? Once we go on Twitter and just make a tweet, the next thing, Tesla prices are up or down. That sentiment, that's just people reacting emotionally. It doesn't actually influence the actual value of that stock. So what that means is that you can buy a good stock at a bad price. So all of these are things that really go over the head of most people. And even for people that it doesn't go over their heads, most people don't have the time to do all of that. That's why you engage the wealth manager. So we've been able to develop an app that allows you to invest in the US markets for as low as $1. That's access for everyone, really. So that's really what Rise is all about. Next slide, please. So why Rise Vest? Rise Vest helps users stay ahead of inflation by keeping their money in dollars, making it more stable, more rewarding, and more valuable. All right, so there are two things I'm going to mention here. One is inflation. Do we all know what inflation is? Just a show of hands. Yeah, great. So inflation is basically a gradual increase in price, right? Do you guys remember when pure water was 5 naira?
Very good, sir. Very good.
So I'm not that old.
I'm not that
Great, love it. So pure water is not 5 naira again, is it?
20 naira, bros. 20 naira, bros. I swear to
inflation, right? So what that is money will always be money. A million naira will always be a million naira. $1 million will always be $1 million. But it's something called purchasing power, right? Purchasing power is linked with inflation. That's why people invest. What that means is you had 5 naira 10 years ago, was able to get you a bag of pure water. Today, a 5 naira note is useless. Well, to me, I don't keep it in my wallet. I don't use it for anything, right? There's nothing I can purchase with this. That's the effect of inflation. So you want to be able to be investing so that you're earning returns that beat inflation. Now let me tell you why we chose the US market and chose to keep our users' assets in US dollars. Today, Nigeria's inflation stands at approximately 16%. So what that means is that our prices generally of everything in our economy is increasing by 16%. So that means if you are keeping your money anywhere, you have to be earning 16% just to be able to beat, like to be able to level up inflation. And then everything you add on top of that is actually your gain. So if you are keeping your money somewhere where you're making 20%, what you're really making is 4%, because your 16% is just fighting inflation, and then 4% is adding value on top of your investment, right? So the second thing is devaluation. Devaluation just means that a couple of years ago, I was able to buy $1 for 360 naira. The parallel markets, right? We're not talking about CBN rates. Talk about parallel markets, the black markets. Today, $1 is closer to 600 naira than it is to 500. That's devaluation of the naira. What that means is that the naira is constantly or historically has been losing value when compared to a currency like the US dollar. So what that means is that even if you are making money on your investments or your savings in naira and it's looking good to you, right? If you actually compare it to a much more stable currency like the US dollar, you find that even though you're making money, the value of your money is actually depreciating, right? Devaluation. So that's the reason why, that's the value proposition that Rice started with. Giving Nigerians an opportunity to invest in markets that beat inflation, and then also keeping your money in a much more stable currency like the US dollar. The reason why we picked the US dollar is the dollar is the global currency. It's accepted everywhere. It also holds its value much more better than the naira. Inflation in dollars is, well, the US's central bank tries to keep inflation at 2%. Now, the pandemic happened, 2 years ago, right? So because of that, they pumped in money into the economy just to be able to make sure people are still spending, people have money. If you have, friends or, relatives that live abroad, somebody would have told you, oh, I got like a paycheck from the government. Yeah. So all of that, they did all of that just to stimulate the economy, to make sure there's still demand, because people were locked at home, right? Industries were suffering and all of that. Alright, so that's the reason why we picked the US dollar. Next slide, please. I just got to say 2 minutes more. So with Rivers, you learn how to create wealth. You diversify your investments. One big thing about investments is diversification. So what that means is do not put all your eggs in one basket, right? You also save towards the target. One of the goals for investments was to save for your financial goals, and then you save for your retirement in US dollars. Next slide, please. So I'll just quickly go through our asset classes. We have 3 asset classes on the app right now. These are like the standard pillar asset classes. So fixed income basically our fixed income plan is basically composed of bonds, right? Corporate bonds, government bonds. Think of bonds as loans. So these, if the Nigerian government wants to build a bridge or do one big capital project, they will offer you bonds, right? You buy into it, and what you're essentially doing is you're loaning to the Nigerian government to be able to do whatever they want to do. This is the safest one of the safest assets, financial assets in the market, right? And the reason is, imagine the possibility of the Nigerian government saying they can't pay you back. It's very low, because bad as bad, we'll just print more money and pay you, right? So that's why this is very, very low. We guarantee 10% US dollar returns on this. So if you're looking for somewhere to keep your money long term, you don't like too much risk, you don't want to lose money, fixed income is a great place to do that. Our next asset class is real estate. So this gives about 13 to 15% on average US dollar returns, although we've done more, as you can see in like previous years. So basically what we do is that we purchase homes in the US, and we make money from rent. We also make money from capital appreciation. So if we bought the house for $50 and we ended up selling it for $100, that $50 there is capital appreciation. So we pay out these profits to our investors on a monthly basis in our real estate plan. This also is very stable. You don't lose money here. This is also one of the best asset classes in real estate, because no matter what happens, people always need houses, people always need offices, right? And then the highest risk asset class on our app is stocks. The reason why stocks are high risk is because of volatility, which means the stock market prices go up and down every day based on a whole bunch of factors. So we put this as high risk. If you're investing in this actually has the potential to give you more returns than any of this, but it also comes with the highest risk. So if you're investing in this, you want to be able to be thinking long term, right? What we do here is that we have a whole team of analysts, and we also leverage on technology and algorithms to make sure that we are selecting the best companies that will grow over the long term. Next slide, please. So I just want to quickly talk about our regulatory structure, because people ask questions about safety a lot, right? So you come to somebody, you're like, you're just an app, where's your office? Like, how do I know you're going to be here for 10 years? Great questions. So RiseVest is, we basically operate, we are two-sided. We have a US entity, we have a Nigerian entity. Our US entity holds all assets. So all the stocks, all the real estate, all the bonds are actually held by our US entity. And then the users, we manage our users from the Nigerian side. So that's why we're also registered with the CAC. And we have ARM as our trustees. So that means, that relationship basically means that ARM makes sure that, basically look out for the user, or check rise on behalf of the user. So that's our relationship with ARM. So it says we're also registered in the US as well, and stock investments are covered up to $500,000 by the SIPC. That's just standard brokerage. Insurance. Our real estate properties are also insured on purchase. Next slide, please. So these are just testimonials. These are just people saying nice things about us on Twitter. Yeah, some great stuff. So finally, I just want to talk about the investing mindset. The reason why we put this slide in here is because a lot of people come to us with the wrong mindset. Nigeria is a low trust environment. We've been hit a lot by a lot of scams, MMM and the likes. So people come to you and they already have that kind of mindset. So I just briefly wanted to speak about the investing mindset. Time's up. Last slide, I was right. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is pay yourself first. So remember when we spoke about the difference between your income and your expenses? Normal financial texts will tell you save at least 10% of your income. That means if you get paid 100 naira today, make sure you save 10 naira and try to live on 90 naira. Trust me, most times you can. Think long term. Investing is best done over the long term. Meaning when you invest in assets, you buy stocks, you invest in real estate, you want to be able to think of the long term. These are not things that people come to us and like, if I put $100, how much am I going to get next month? It's going to be very minimal. If you think about it that way, you wouldn't see the value in investing. You want to be able to think of long horizons, 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. That's what investments are really for. So you want to be able to be thinking long term. Diversification, do not put all your eggs in one basket. So that's why we have 3 different asset classes. You get to pick based on your risk level, what kind of risk do you like, what kind of returns do you like, and it's split so that if the stock market is doing bad, you have your real estate investments or you have your fixed income investments to be able to give you some balance. And then finally, stick to your plan, block out the noise. What this is a lot of people are influenced by a lot of things that people say. So people jump into the crypto market just because this person made so much money. You don't want to be able to think like that. So you want to make your own, do your own due diligence, make your own research, and do your own investments based on your own profile. Right? So block out the noise. When stocks are dipping, you don't want to just sell because everybody is out. Right? So you want to be able to stick to your own financial plan, know why you are investing, know why you are putting money away, and just stick to that. Don't listen to what everybody says. Yes, so at this point, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you guys.
Let's come on together we said we can call each other Chubi. Let's go. People can say for Chubi one time. Listen to everybody. Our clap now, our clap. We are 3, 2, 1, go. Which one is that one? Let's go again. 3, 2, 1, go. Look at Good sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Okay, questions? We have one question. Only one person. Okay, 2. We'll take 2 questions. I have one. Second person. If it's gone, it's gone. No action. There's second person. Thank you very much. Okay, 3. Please, very short. Please, Mr. Chubi, very quickly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. My name is Emmanuel.
Hi, Emmanuel.
Yes, my question is this. What risk management processes do you have? And in the event whereby the market have a massive downturn, how do you ensure that the assets of the customers are safe? Then 2, you listed names of financial regulators, and I didn't see the names of the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the body that is empowered by law to regulate the Nigerian investment industry. Thank you very much.
Chubi, would you like to answer that now? I state the other question.
No, let me go for it now.
Please, so very quickly.
The first one we said was basically risk management. So for fixed income has no problem with that, right? That's like a normal, safe investment asset class, right? For real estate, we insure every single property that we buy. We don't buy on mortgage, we buy straight up cash. So that means if this property costs $25,000, Rise is giving them $25,000 to own the property outright. It's insured on purchase. So that means whatever happens to that property, there's an insurance backup for that. Now, I think your question was mostly directed to the stock market. What we do is that our philosophy for stocks is that we try to pick the best companies. So we pick companies with a special moat. What that means is a special value proposition. What makes this company, what gives this company the opportunity to be able to be here for the next 10 years? If you look at the stocks that we hold, these are companies that we believe that will be here for the next 10 years. These are companies with strong financial backing. So you look at fundamentals as well, which is like the financials. We make sure that these companies are companies that, or even in the downturn, they'll still be here. If you look at the names and read about investment pieces, you understand what I'm talking about. And then when the market does drop, it affects a lot of stocks. But again, we want to think long term, because when the market drops, what that really does is that it gives us an opportunity to buy more. Remember, as an investor in stocks, what you want to do is to buy low and sell high. Right? So if there's a good company and the price is down, it just gives us the buying opportunity to get that stock at a discounted price. Right? We're outside if you need much more details.
Thank you, Mr. Chubi. Second question, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Honorable. Knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you were starting out, just for us to avoid making such mistakes that we make?
Knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you started out? Like, is it when you built Rise? When I started. So is there anything you would note now that you can tell us so we don't make the same mistakes? Thank you very much. Very quickly, sir. Third question, get ready.
Alright, so let me just answer. He had his second question. So you mentioned SEC, right? So like I said, ARM are trustees. ARM and SEC regulated. So we basically, back on to ARM for all of that. ARM are our trustees. There's a legal relationship there. So what that means is basically they are like no, yes, the investment the trustee arm of ARM. Oh, so next question, is there anything that we would have done better before? Not on the investment side, because since we started off, our returns have actually been great. And I'm not even talking about like local standard, I'm talking about global standard. So if you look at numbers we've done, you can compare it to like asset managers across the globe. The only thing would be maybe how we manage or how we market, but it won't be anything based on the investments actually.
Thank you very much.
That
Should be and the last person.
Okay, so my question is, I want to speak in this, and I bought some dollars. By the time I wanted to withdraw, I have to sell at the lower rate. So how does right first control that so that people don't go into losses?
You got that, sir?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, so what that is basically the bid and the ask price, the buy and sell rates. You don't buy and sell foreign currency in the same price, right? So if you bought at 560, if you wanted to sell, you sell at 550. But that's not the piggy vesting, that's not the rice vesting. But for us, really, when your returns, the returns that you make, really just cover for that. So your net returns will beat all of that anyways. So again, that's why you want to think long term, because like I said, that's not the piggy vesting, that's not the rice thing. You just don't buy currency, foreign currency at the same price. I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much. Great. So we'll be outside. My team members and I are just sat outside. We would still like to have conversations with you guys. So if you guys have further questions, further inquiries, we'll be sat outside. Thank you guys so much again.
Mr. Hamid and I together for you. Thank you. We're going to have one more person talk more about rice, so that we all can rise from our current, from our current financial status. So ladies and gentlemen, I know that this has been a lot, having guest speakers back to back, especially without a glucose boost, like that my guy here, Yeah, a lot of people have glucose boost to get them going through the conference. So if they are hungry and you know it, clap your hands. If you are hungry and you know it, clap your hands. If you're hungry and you go, when you really want to show. If you're hungry and you go, clap your hands. I didn't say everybody that did clap, but I saw 3 people, and I will make sure, as long as it's breath in my soul. No, because I'm saying the hungry, I'll be like, alright, we have just one more speaker to go, then we'll have a break. Then before we go into the next segment, please sit tight. During the break, there will be a light refreshment. Don't go, because I'm not convincing them. If you eat the refreshment and you leave, if you eat refreshment and leave here, you will see me your dream move. So, because I want them, they need to give us the refreshment later, you will really put it at the end. And then when we have shared grace, by saying no, let's give a little refreshment when we're having a great session. So please pay attention before I bring up the last guest speaker. Also,
sorry again, please don't misplace your meal tickets.
no, don't misplace.
If you like misplace it like
Let's
that,
go around. Please, I urge you, misplace your meal ticket.
I will pick the one I see on the floor.
I have to now. Yeah, I have to. I'm not really, I have to. I'm excited. So please, keep misplacing your meal ticket. So I'd like to bring up Professor from the Pediatric and Child Department, let's get right together for Professor John. And then just going to talk to us about 5 minutes or so, 2 or 5 minutes. And what we got going on then, directly from the way that happened, but let's get right together.
So, thank you. Let me try and that guy that said all his name. John Akintunde Oladoto Okeni. I think I got one more than you. Yes, I'm head of pediatrics and childhood, but I'm not here on that staff. I'm here to remind you of what we want to do today, knowing fully well that you've probably respect. You've been here all day, and we are all busy. We are also busy. I'm here on behalf of the faculty because we have an anti-sexual harassment committee. You and I know that this is a scourge. You and I know that this is happening. I also finished from this school. I was once IFUMSA president, and it happened in our time, and it is happening, and it is sad. And unfortunately, everybody looks at every lecturer as a predator. You and I know it happens, but there is no evidence. You need video, audio, you need courage of someone who has been victimized to then be re-victimized by society to come up with evidence to say, this is her. So, 3 weeks ago, we had the very first of such on this campus. Our faculty, we educated lecturers amongst ourselves about what exactly constitutes sexual harassment. Some people don't know what it is. So let's assume everybody does. They don't know. And I think by now we have brought everybody onto the same page. So nobody can claim ignorance anymore. Our assumption is that perhaps the students don't know as well. People misconstrue, for example, seduction with harassment. As a lecturer, I cannot claim excuse even if somebody is a seducer. You should go through, and you two should be man enough, and there is no excuse. Being ignorant of the law is not a defense. So today we will be trying to engage you after all of this. Med school is a 24/7 thing and round the clock. So we really can't spare another day or another time. And we'll be engaging you by 3. We will not engage you for too long. I'm not an advocate of time wasting. And what we are really asking for is your patience and your interaction and honest engagement. Ask questions from anybody. Ask any questions on any scenario. If you have a personal experience and you are bold enough to talk about it, whether in windows or in any which ways, let's go for it. So just stay tuned in a short while. We will be meeting you as a committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can we get our hands together? We can do better. Let's be once ready go.
IFUMSA.
Thank you so much. I'm going to applause and encourage us to actually do it behind. So quickly now, before I bring up the final speaker for today, remember we still have a final session, we have a pitch session, where someone is going to be winning an amazing prize of 200,000 naira. I'm so pained because I just heard about the price this morning. If I had known, I wouldn't be able to see it today. I will be here. See my life out. I'll probably be there saying it will handle product only Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, how many of us are ready for the next guest speaker? If you're ready for them, let me see your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. Okay, let's have a little icebreaker before I bring him up, because I can see a lot of people are tired. Bring it down, bring it down. For people that came late, you probably didn't know this, but some people have won money today. Yes, If you look at my event, you know that I always give away.
Yes.
So a lot of people already want stuff, but somebody want car, key holder, who now? Let me put it out there now. Somebody want car, key holder. So, and someone today is going to be going on with a brand new Biro, because the faintest pen is sharper than the
mightiest sword.
Where you bring your clothes from. Alright, so wait for this. Are you ready, guys? Turn up. Everybody sit on this side. You are on a team. And they came up with the name Tono Warisi.
Waris.
That's the name of everybody on this road. Are you ready? So when I say Tono, the response is Waris. Tono.
Waris.
She do better than that. Tono. Waris. Everybody sitting here. He really came up with this for everybody. What's the name? Yeah. Diamond. Always shining. I don't have to shame. I still do not guess about sitting here. Diamond always shining. I don't believe you. Zazu. I'm already know. Alright, so when you play earlier, corporate says, anything corporate says, you do it. If corporate doesn't say it, and somebody in your own room does it, everybody gets stands up and they do choreography to a song from the DJ. We've done it before this morning. I just want us to like them before the next guest speaker comes. Are you ready, DJ? So bring it down. We'll do one demo. Corporate says, raise your right hand. Now, if somebody in your room doesn't do it, like, sorry, not room, like, in those segments, everybody in those segments gets punished. I mean, that was sweet. Very beautiful. Alright, corporate says, raise your right hand. I'm looking at people that are not raising their hands. They might put their own group too. Now, corporate says, drop your right hand. Corporate says, raise your right hand. Corporate says, drop your right hand. Raise your right hand. Everybody stand up. Oh, I said I was demo. So that's demo now. Are you ready now? Or play the game real now. Are you guys ready? Now, corporate says, clap your hands.
IFUMSA.
Good. Corporate says, raise your left hand. Drop your left hand. Everybody get up. Everybody go down. Everybody stand up. Play the song for like 30 seconds. Everybody let's be on our feet. Everybody let's be on our feet for 30 seconds. Everybody let's be on our feet. Apart from our friends, we want to join us. So everybody do as I do. Are you ready? In case you don't know, MCK is a keyboard entertainer. He's an MC, he's a dancer, and he's also an actor. Are you guys ready? Everybody do as I do. Simple downstairs. Imagine you are wearing gloves and white shorts. Are you ready? DJ ready, everybody, turn it up. Let's go, man. Make sure that you know. Are you ready for the next step? I like this one very much. So people are not moving, you already are not moving. I want you to see that in your room. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have our hands together for Dr. Joy as she comes to read the citation for Dr. Aris Mabike. Please let's have our hands together for Joy. Come on! Joy for Joy. What about the song?
the Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Provost, College of Health Sciences, the Dean, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, the distinguished guests, and keynote speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the citation for Dr. Arinze Madueke. Dr. Arinze Madueke is a 37-year-old Nigerian doctor, businessman, and philanthropist. He is the founder of Zidora Group, Zidora Aid Foundation, Arigo Technologies, publisher of Media Africa magazine, the convener of the revered prestigious African Illustrious Award. He hails from Paul in Nnewi, South Local Government Area of Anambra State. He has his medical training both in Nigeria and in the United States of America. The philanthropist started his career at the age of 27 when he started his Zidora Group of companies and conglomerates with diverse subsidiaries ranging from travels, tours, foreign education placements, IT, real estate, media, logistics, pharmaceuticals, oil and gas, among others. He is also the founder of Zidora Aid Foundation, a non-governmental organization that has lifted hundreds of Africans from poverty, youth empowerment, building of houses for widows, sensitization programs, scholarships, provision of electricity, potable water in rural areas, grants to businessmen and women. He has also in many ways put smiles on countless faces and given hope to the hopeless in society. He is the founder of Arigo Incubation and Innovation Hub, a tech research and development hub where tech startups meet to discuss research on tech and innovative driven ideas geared to solve Africa's problem using tech innovation. Chief Dr. Arinze Madueke is happily married with kids, awards and recognitions. He is a Rotarian and a Paul Harris Fellow. He is the Ezeana Okaka Nawuko, a title given to him by the poor community for his immense, laudable and commendable charity gestures. Distinguished Customer Award of Excellence from Fidelity Bank, the Lagos Watch, Ambassador of Peace and Security Award 2019. He is a Doctor of Business Administration 2019 from Commonwealth University. He is a Business Management and Leadership Leader from 2019 London Graduate School. He has a certificate of participation in 2011 from Enterprise Development Center. He has been awarded an Award of Excellence as Driver of Commerce and Industry 2020, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. The Nigerian Youth Advocacy for Good Governance Initiative